Good morning, dear friends. Welcome to Conscious Living virtual meeting. It is a joy to be here together, and we ask the light of Jesus to help us to keep connected, to be focused today, so we can learn the lessons that is going to empower us to live better. So I invite everyone to listen to the words of the Spirit Emmanuel from the book Our Daily Bread. So we do a little open to prepare ourselves for the prayer and for the lessons today. And the lesson is number 6, make use of the light. Walk while you have the light, so that the darkness does not overtake you. Jesus 12:35. Meditative persons will encounter divine thoughts as they analyze the past and the future. They will see themselves placed between two eternities, that of the days they have passed and the days yet to come. As they examine the treasures of the present, they will discover their precious opportunities. In the future, they foresee the blessed light of immortality, whereas in the past they behold the darkness of their ignorance, the wrongs they committed, and the experience they handled badly. A crushing majority of people have no other picture regarding the recent or remote past, except one comprised of ruin and disattachment. This compels them to reevaluate the resources at hand. Thus, in spite of being transitory, human life is the flame that puts you in contact with the work you need to do in order to evolve rightly. By taking advantage of this blessed opportunity, you can learn, attain, accomplish, and reunite. You can redeem, correct, reconcile, and enrich yourself in the Lord. Reflect on the Master's remark, and you grasp its enlightening meaning. Walk while you have the light, he said. Take advantage of the gift of the time you have received by doing spiritually constructive work. Lift yourselves from your lower condition by acquiring a higher understanding. Without the signs of improvement and accomplishment as you go along, you'll be dominated by the darkness. That is, you have wasted your sacred opportunity by turning to unworthy impulses. And after the death of the body, you return the same place of darkness from which you emerge in order to climb the new steps of the sublime mountain of life. I thought in this message you would inspire us to pay attention in the lessons that we are going to bring with the gospel today, and it's going to wrap all together in actions that we can do this moment to make this best time the best for our own involvement. So with that invitation of Jesus for us to shine our light, to walk in the light, I invite everybody to close their eyes if they want to, so we can do our opening prayer. And we pray, saying, Kind Heavenly Father, Jesus, our Master, that is here present with us, guiding us in this moment of learning. We ask all the good spirits to help us to quiet our mind, open our heart, so we can appreciate the lessons, the words of Jesus, and help us to have ears to hear deeply the messages, so we can trust this message in our heart, so can reflect in our thoughts, in our actions, in every single moment in our life. Help us to be connected and experience the joy of a spiritual family united in a moment of learning. So with that, we ask Jesus be with us so we start our meeting. Okay, dear friends, today we brought a very nice lesson. It's a lesson from the gospel. Let me just adjust the PowerPoint, if you let me to. Okay. The topic is standing firm. So we are going to learn how the gospel can educate us in all this moment that we're experiencing. And the message from the gospel that we bring, it is a part of the gospel where Fenelon gives that message stand firm. And just for our understanding, Fenelon was born in Cambrai and died in January 7, 1715. He collaborated with the Spirits book, and his messages were published in the Spirits magazine. So he was part of that group of high spirits that helps Kardec in the codification. And in this chapter, we learn that Jesus said, I have not come to destroy the law. I do not think that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have not come to destroy them, but to fulfill them. For I say to you, in truth, that heaven and earth shall not pass away before everything in the law is complete, fulfilled up one single iota and one single dot. So we are going to see some reading, but I think it's very important for us to get to the message. I want to talk about it, okay? So bear with me. So I'm going to put a higher screen here so will help everybody to read better. Jesus did not come to destroy the law, that is, God's law. He came to fulfill it, that is, to develop, to give its own true meaning, and to adapt to the degree of the humankind advancement. He came to teach people that true life is not to be found on the earth, but in the kingdom of heaven, to teach them the way that leads there and the means of reconciling themselves to God, and to forewarn them regarding to the progress of the future things for the fulfillment of human destiny. Okay, just a moment, please. And also, he said, the gospel said in the new era, this chapter also tells this new era that's coming. Christ was the initiator of the purest and most sublime morality, the evangelical Christian morality that is to renew the world, bring men and women together, and make them brothers and sisters. It is a morality that is to enable charity and love for one's neighbor to blossom forth in all human hearts and create a common solidarity amongst all humans. In short, it is a morality that is to transform the earth, making a dwelling place for spirits more highly evolved than those inhabit today. So we all talk about it, that the new era is coming, the regeneration, the importance of a change, the vibration of the planet. So more evolved beings can live in a more peaceful way. So we know all that we've been studying the gospel. And that's the message that we want to talk. Fenelon said, one day, God, due to his inexhaustible, artificial word, charity, allowed humankind to see the truth, dissipate the darkness. That was the advance of Christ. After that, the living light, the darkness returned. The world, after the alternatives of truth and obscurity, became lost once again. Then, just like the prophets of the Old Testament, the spirits began to speak and warn you. The world is being shaken on its very foundation. The thunder shall resound, stand firm. Spiritism is a divine order, since it rests upon the very laws of nature, and you can certain that everything of a divine order has a great and useful purpose. Yes, my children, the world is being shaken. The good spirits have told you this more than enough times. Bend under the forewarning breeze of the storm, so you may not be knocked over. That is, prepare yourself and do not like the foolish virgins who were taken by surprise of the arrival of the bridegroom. So I thought that the message was so touching because it felt like it was psychographic last week for us, alerting us that enough difficult times has been coming, that he tells us to bend over, to understand what's happened, the turmoil that happened. So we be prepared. And especially, he said, don't act like the foolish virgins that were taken by surprise by the bridegroom. So when we said that, it's such a evolved spirit that come and say to us, don't do this. Don't be like the foolish virgin. So it felt like very important for us to understand what he meant by that. So we brought for our study the parable of the virgins, the 10 virgins, the parable of the wise and the foolish virgins, so we can fully understand what he meant. Don't do like the foolish. So we have a choice to learn how to be prepared for this new era, for this moment of turbulence that we are experiencing. So we are going to read now this parable, okay? I'm going to put in a big screen to facilitate to everyone. Then the kingdom of heaven will be 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. Those who were foolish, when they took their lamps, took no oil with them, but the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. Now, while the bridegroom delayed, they all slumbered and slept. But at midnight there was a cry, behold, the bridegroom is coming. Come out to meet him. Then all the virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, give us some of your oil. Our lamps are going out. But the wise answered, saying, what if there isn't enough for us and you? You go rather to those who sell and buy for yourselves. While they went away to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. After, the other virgins also come and say, Lord, Lord, you open for us. So, this parable is very important then for us to understand. So we are going to get one phrase at a time so we have a full understanding of the message of Jesus, because we know Jesus talked by parables and it requires study and understanding, because his message, the more we read, the more we understand the meaning, because he knew he could not say open to everyone. The consciousness was not ready to understand and hear his message. So let's see. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins. What that means? We know the kingdoms of heaven is like that place within, when we are in harmony and balanced health, when we are actively acting according to the laws. Is when we experiencing our alignment with the divine law. That is our kingdom of heaven. Many people have the impression the kingdom is out there, but it's in our consciousness, the collectedness of our thoughts, our feelings, our actions, that is all here. And of course, that is a superior state of mind. We need to elevate above the circumstances to achieve that balance. So this is a state of mind of people who are seeking to acquire, to cultivate the virtues that is required to enter the kingdom of heaven. So in here also is like a version, what Jesus want to say to that. For us to enter the kingdom of heaven, like we need our purity. So we needed to eliminate our low tendencies, our vices, everything that keep us to align with the divine laws to enter the kingdom of heaven. And also a viewpoint that it is a journey that we are making in our evolution, right? So that's what I mean by that. When they took their lamps, here the lamp is considered a device, right, that is intended to illuminate. It's not the light itself. The lamp in reality is an instrument that we have the possibility to exteriorize our light, the divine light through us, being an instrument where we can put our light. And this is a conquer that we are going to go through in our evolution. And it's important for us to see the word, their lamps. It is very important that every single one has the instrument and every single us have our own light. And they went out to meet the bridegroom. Okay, the bridegroom here is a figurative of the husband, the bridegroom, the one that is gonna complete me. But we have an understanding that is our encounter with the alignment in the new perspective when we are balanced. It's like taking out the old self and creating the old one. Is that moment of, that's what I mean, the encounter of this. And when we have this meeting, that means we meet, we let it go the duality, the bad part of us, the lower part of us. So we meet in the encounter of this peaceful moment in our spiritual being. And of course, to enter in the kingdom of heaven requires the silence, the perfect balance between our feelings, our thoughts, our reasoning, and it requires us to search to get to that state. And also, everybody that is in this way can be differentiated from the foolish and the wise. So he said 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. So the wise girls that went to the Auschwitz, they are trying to connect with God. They are pursuing the alignment with God. So they are doing everything they can to acquire those virtues that allow them to enter the kingdom of heaven. The foolish are the one, they are not concerned much. They just want to avoid difficulties. They are in the avoiding moment. They are not acting, pursuing the next step of evolution. They are not actually pursuing to cultivate their virtues. They are just refrained by making mistakes. That's the difference. And that's why it's so important that we learn all the aspects so we can have a better choices. Those who were foolish, when they took their lamps, they took no oil with them. In that passage, Jesus was just alerting us, be careful not to be invigilant, because that's what the foolish people did. They were invigilant. They knew that important the oil would end eventually, but they didn't have the preoccupation to prepare themselves. And that reflects a lot for us, how many moments we go through life completely invigilant. Because studying our doctrine, we have the understanding the value of our spiritual life, that we have the immortality ahead of us. We are immortal beings. We have the eternity, and we are here to really conquer those virtues, to make our evolution for our return in our spiritual life with more in power, more aligned with the divine law, a little bit closer of God, right? But still, we don't live as immortal beings. Many of us have most of our attention in the material life, not being preparing for the spiritual light. So that's a good alert for us in this, especially in this moment. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamp. Here is how important for us to be prepared, to cultivate. So we have the oil, we have active actions to have more oil in our lamp. And this is the combustive, the oil that we are going to take is the amount of love, the way we learn how to love, the way we learn to see our brothers and sisters. And that's why Jesus says, shine your light, do everything that you can to cultivate your light and spread your light. But at midnight, there was a cry, behold, The bridegroom is coming. Come out to meet them. Here, it is a moment that is an alert. It's the moment he's coming. It's the meeting of our higher self. It's a unique moment, the integration with our Father, the entrance and kingdom of heaven. And also here, the bridegroom is also representing this new era that's coming, the more joy, whereas the goodness is going to prevail. The earth is going to enter in a near future for regeneration. We study the doctrine, we hear that. So right now we are in a portal of entrance of the regeneration. So he's coming. The era is coming. We don't know exactly when it's coming. That's why we need to be present. We need to prepare ourselves. Cannot be foolish any longer. We just don't have the time because we don't know exactly when this is going to happen. So that's why it's so important for us to do the work that we need to do in the present moment. And in these moments like that, there is a lot of difficulties. All the opportunities is present itself for us to learn to be firm, to be consistent and acting in goodness, learning to have all eyes to see, to use every opportunity we can to align ourselves and act according to the lights, acting according to the laws, so we can make more light in our being and we can overcome the obstacles. And that's the way in the turbulence we have the opportunity to pass our trials. So all the trials are presenting themselves, all these difficulties that all of us are experiencing. It is opportune for us to show up, to show what we are made of. And in these moments of difficulties, that we are capable to truly understand where we are according to the gospel. What we have within that give us the tools to overcome the turbulence and shine. And in this new era, it's very important that we become fully aware where we are, because we have the opportunity here now to build ourselves. Many of us are overcoming the obstacles with a certain amount of peace. We are having, all of us having our ups and downs moment, but we stand firm. We are bending rather than breaking. And if at any moment you feel, or any moment we feel that we are not capable of bending and not be broken, if we are not being able to pass our tests, we feel that we are failing miserable in our trials. And that's the good news. We become really aware where we are. So we can start here now to build the foundation that's going to help us to stand firm. So either way, it's so valuable, the lesson, because it's very good that we learn exactly where we are. And in difficult moments, that's where we truly learn. And that's why Jesus said, seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will open for us. Now is the time. Let's seek and let's find. Let's knock the door and open for this new era that is coming for our peace here now. And the foolish said to the wise, give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out. And this is such a good alert for us, not act like this as the foolish that is waiting for someone else to resolve our problem. So many people come and say, do it for me, solve my problem, please relieve my pain. Sometimes people come to the center and say, I feel I have a little obsessor disturbing me, please take away this obsessor. It's not the way we do it, because here is the moment that we understand that it requires our personal effort. There is no one else can do the work that is supposed for us to do. Each of us need to use our personal efforts to overcome our low tendencies, to get ourselves prepared, and to actively look for the virtues that can help. And the refusal of the wise to give the oil is just because the virtues are not transferable. I cannot ask Suzanne, I cannot ask Marcel, I cannot ask other friends. No, it's not transferable. We need to conquer them. And that's a very important information here, alert that Fenelon is given to us. While they went away to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. So here is the importance for us to understand that the preparation is here now. We need to be planting, because the harvest we never know. We never know when it's going to be the moment. And we do not know when this door is going to close. Here, that's the time. Close the door. And many of us don't know if we are prepared or not. Many of us are not aware if we have the capability to enter to the marriage feast. So it's very important here for us to be vigilant over time and ask ourselves, what are we doing with our time? I'm using all these hours that God, in His mercifulness, gives us every single day, 24 hours. How am I using this time? Am I making the progress I need for my spirit, immortal being, to progress and get to the new era? So it's an invitation for us to be present with the precious gift of time that God gave us to us for us to evolve. Meditate and reflect on what I'm doing with my time that is giving me the preparation, the oil for my lamp, so I can hold up and shine. Very important advice. Afterward, the other virgins also came, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. And here, it is the possibility that one of the situations we find ourselves, if we get a little bit late, the door is going to be closed. And we can scream, open, open for us, but it's already closed. And we cannot miss this opportunity. Fenelon is telling us, stand firm, don't miss this opportunity that is presented for us. Because if we don't enter the door, if we don't take the opportunity now to overcome the trials and elevate ourselves above the circumstance, we're going to have to repeat all the trials again. And that time, the difficulty must be a lot greater than this one. So we want to use all the lessons that are present ourselves for us to learn. So we are going to be ready. And it was answered, most certainly I tell you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you don't know the day or not the hour which the Son of the Man is coming. We don't know when it's going to come. That's why we need to be vigilant and present and use every single day as a great new opportunity for us to be prepared, for us to cultivate our best. We need to act calmly, safely, now as doing our best. For sure, it is a matter for us to be present and every single moment trusting that we are able to curve and not going to be knocked out. So we are acting calmly and safely. If we're doing every moment our best, we can assure that we are doing the right thing. We are entering the right path. Work hard on your own improvement to deserve the reincarnated on the earth in the new era, an era of peace that lies ahead of us. So the invitation is for us to work in our own improvement. So the earth that's coming, the new era that is coming, is an era of peace. So it's very important that we learn to vibrate in the peace to be able to enter this new era. And here, I'm going to put in the whole screen because it's going to be easy. Emmanuel, in the book Our Daily Bread, he gave a wonderful message. 79 is but, and the disciples. Sorry, I forgot to translate that part. I can do everything through him who strengthens me. Paul. Dedicated disciples affirm, of myself, I possess nothing that is good, but Jesus will provide the resources according to the needs. I don't have perfect knowledge of the way, but Jesus will guide me. Lazy disciples declare, don't believe in the goodness of Jesus, but I don't have strength for the Christian work either. I know that the way is through Jesus, but the world won't let me follow him. And here, Emmanuel gives us such a wonderful, wonderful tool for us to become aware exactly where we are, to see how we are according to the work. Based on these three words, but if we be vigilant and pay attention how we are using this word, because if you put before Jesus, we are feeling power. Those are the one who knows our being fragile, our imperfections, but in Jesus we believe, and we count with his guidance to overcome. And the lazy one that is not really embracing the work, they said, I see that Jesus is helping us, but look ahead, how's the world is going. So this is a good information for us where we are according to the gospel. And this defines our position if we are prepared for the work, or if we are just in need of expand our ability to embrace our faith in reasonable ways so we can truly grasp the lessons of Jesus. This is very principal words. In these three words, if we becoming vigilant the way with our thoughts, especially our thoughts in days like this, we can understand if we profess or confess the way inactive we put our actions according to the gospel. So it's very important that we becoming aware, and especially in these moments when we have distorted thoughts about what's happening out there. We have the intellectual understanding, but sometimes in the heart, we say, what's going on in the world? So those are the moments that we need to be vigilant so we can use this word but to empower us. Because when we put the but before Jesus, we embrace all his force, we embrace all his light to support us, to encourage us, to direct our thoughts, our feelings towards the work that needs to be done, and especially the faith that we need to prevail. So, in this moment, we feel that God is telling us time to cultivate the seeds of the virtues in our being. So, with all these lessons, we feel that is invitation. Many of us say we're not in quarantine, we are in our spiritual retreat. So, it's an opportunity for us to reflect and meditate about our virtues. Virtues are not divine conceptions, a gift or grace provided by God to some spirits. These are individual achievements, achieved through trials and repeated learning in successive reincarnation experience. So we know that all the virtues that we need to acquire, it takes a long time because we come through a long journey of low tendencies, and it requires a lot of effort for us to overcome. So this is a good reminder for us not to be discouraged, because sometimes we are applying ourselves for some virtues and then we feel miserable in our experiences. So it's discouraging for so many of us, for all of us, but it's help us to put in perspective that take a little while for us to learn. So the acquisition of virtues, therefore, requires commitment and persistency. It's not something that can be achieved overnight. In this sense, let us hear the advice of the Apostle Peter to that point. So he brings some guidance for us to apply diligently. So it's very, very cool that for us, as imperfect beings, for us to improve, that we take the opportunity that offered daily. And many times we just forget it, we just get aggravated and we forget that it's just another opportunity to overcome a trial. So that's why we needed to develop the virtues that's going to assist us how to overcome. So in the book, the way of virtues, Jason Camadi said, in order for us to solidify our virtue, we need to practice, we need to study, we need to analyze, so we understand intellectually, so we can start putting practice. And we needed to diligently, very vigilant, use a lot of our attention to put in practice. And in the beginning, we need a lot of attention to put in practice. But when we do that consistently, more and more, we don't need as much attention to put in practice. So it's very important. That's why this message is so apropos for the moment. It is important that we learn to elevate our vibration above the circumstance we see, and the consciousness is so much turmoil and require us to go above in our consciousness so we don't get trapped in this lower vibration that is all around. It's very amazing opportunity for us to do. So we are going to see what is the advice of the Apostle Peter for us. And he said, add your faith to the virtue. Virtue add knowledge. Knowledge add self-control. Self-control add persistence. To the perseverance add compassion. Compassionate add fraternal love. Fraternal love adds charity. It's so beautiful the way he puts, because here he inspired us to bring to our virtue, to our faith some virtue, because having faith and not having virtue doesn't work much, because you can have faith, but if you don't have kindness, if you don't have the other virtues, becoming like a inactive faith. So it's very important that we bring the virtue to our faith. So when we start to bring the virtue, we need to add knowledge to understand, analyzing the virtue, so we can understand, becoming more aware, more vigilant. When we have all that in the knowledge, we need to add self-control, because it requires the use of our will, our free will, our choices to refrain. So we need to self-control. In the moment that we want to talk bad about our brother and sister, we need to refrain, hold that, and take a while for us to learn to hold, so we can manifest the virtues. The duality is very important. So when we have a little bit self-control, becoming aware of the importance of self-control, we need to add the perseverance, because we will know how many times we're going to fail. Everybody that is trying self-control and transform and acquire a virtue know how hard it is. And that's why we need to persevere. So it comes hand in hand. So when we have all this knowledge up to the persevering, and we are persevering, that's when we add the compassion, because we know how hard it is. We know how many times we fail and how many times we are getting up and try again. So that's when we started developing the seed of compassion. And especially when we can look at our brothers and sisters, when we are doing the hard work, because all of us to grow is hard, it's painful. Everybody that is trying to let it go of vice and cultivate a virtue know how hard it is. So we have more compassion, because we are walking the walk. So we have more compassion when our brothers failing in their attempts. And when we develop a little bit more compassion, that's when the fraternity comes in place. We only have fraternal love when we have all this and compassion. And from that space of fraternal love that we can do the charity, that's when we are prepared for the charity without much interest. And that's the true virtue. The higher virtue is the charity we do without any self-interest. So it is a journey for that. And Peter said, when we do that, we get the knowledge, we start purifying our thoughts. We have higher vibration of thoughts. And when we start adding another portion in another virtue, that is when it's getting the transformation for a virtuous man. So it's a work. It's going to take a while, but it's an effort that is going to help us to be more capable to enter the kingdom of heaven, to experience that well-being that allowed us to put our head in the pillow and say, today I did everything I could. Because we are not talking about perfection, because we know it is impossible in this era, in this planet we are living. That's impossible. But we can do the best we can. And this work, when you practice and illuminating our thoughts, our light is going to start shining a little more. And in this way, when we enter the opportunity to enter the kingdom of heaven, our light is going to shine. And in moments like that, when there's so much darkness around us, it's so important that we hold our lamp and help our light shine a little more. Help one another in this moment. Bring a little light around us. It's very important message for us to acquire these moral values. And it's very important that we apply all this advice that Peter said, apply diligently in your home, with your family, with your spouse, with your child, in your work, with our neighbors, with our brothers and sisters, for not to waste any opportunity to practice those virtues. And that's the way we are going to see help one another. First, by elevating our energy field and help everyone that is around us. And that's the way. The difficulty in applying those virtues, it is because most of the time it has the opposite of our vices. And many of us try to create a new virtues, cultivate a new virtues without becoming aware who is driving the car, who is in the throne. When one of our vices is in the throne, it's impossible to have dual energy. We need to take one out of there. So the virtues can stand. We cannot serve two masters. So it's very, very important that we're becoming aware. Sometimes we are trying so hard, but we are forgetting to take away our selfishness that is driving the car all this time, our pride, our arrogance. So it's very, very important, the lesson for us to pay attention who is driving our car, because we want the mortal being to drive the car and have the hands with Jesus and the gear. Very important. And André Luiz says, the virtues is not a flower that we put out there. We need to use to enhance the present time. More than ever, we need to enhance the opportunity in the present time. And that's the way when we apply this effort to apply those virtues, we stand firm. Because we have all our thoughts aligned with Master Jesus. We have our thoughts aligned in the divine law. And that's the way that we are going to pass to the portal of regeneration. That's the way we are creating the well-being in the present moment. That's the way we are going to help and collaborate with Jesus in this new era. And all of us know a little bit more than others in some matters, but we are all equal. We are all going through the same journey. That's why we need to give hands to each other. One is a little bit in the front to help the one that is coming right behind, because in the end, we are all together in this mission to create a new era. So that's why it's so important that we learn to instruct ourselves, to sharpen the thoughts, refine the word and analyze all the truths, very important for our discernment. And that's why Emmanuel said, comment in the book One Daily Bread as well, a phrase of Paul, therefore, my beloved brothers, be firm, steadfast, always fully devoted to the work of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord your labor is never in vain. The invitation here for us to acting, to help, having the joy, the harmony, the hope that we can have built between us, help us sharing our light and help to open new horizons, help to improve life, improve the moments. Anytime we can have and be a witness of the good news, be a witness of the gospel. And it's very important with this work that we are doing that we keep in washing our soul in the river of prayers. Very important, so we can continue feeling empower ourselves, persevere in the way to continue firm and constantly in the work renewing ourselves and support the planet, renewing the consciousness. We need to work diligently to illuminate ourselves, and that's the way we're going to help to illuminate the planet. So everything we perceive out there, recognize is here within us. So when we bring the peace, the kingdom of heaven within, when we illuminate our thoughts, illuminate our hearts, we are putting a drop of peace in the planet. And that's the most effective way we can help our brothers and sisters these days. So that's the message for today. And would you like to end this talk with a message of Joanna de Angelis, a very short that I'm going to read it for you guys. The book, Open Your Heart and Find Happiness. Light is brighter than darkness predominates. Medicine is to be taken by the infirm. Fresh water satiates thirsty. Generous bread overcomes hunger. It is natural that, on the planet, in the process of cleansing, there is a predominance of unbalance, violence, senseless pleasures, and destruction. The future, however, appears designed by rational realizations, without any crime and atrocities, vice, or cruelty. The spirits that inhabit Earth now pass through a selective test of moral quality. The good ones will proceed, the bad ones will remain in a different sphere where they will improve. Your harmony is needed since today in order to diminish the confusion and chaos. Start now your inner transformation, choosing sacrifice, elevate actions, and goodness without limit. Intent on this transformation, you keep yourself in harmony, being an instrument in the hands of God, who continues working for a happy future life. That's a beautiful message from Joanna de Angelis. And with that, we are going to invite everyone to do our closing prayer, asking, Dear Father, thank you so much for the message that we receive from the gospel. And we ask, dear Lord, your support in the improvement of ourselves. Give each of us the perseverance, the determination, the commitment to improve ourselves. Help us to acquire the virtues that help us to stand firm in the moments of so much turbulence in the consciousness. Give us the renewed faith and commitment to progress, dear Lord. In this moment, we ask the good spirits that visit our home, spreading the light of Jesus through all our home and the loved ones. Can visit the house of our friends, visit the house of all our spiritual family present. And we pray, dear Lord, in this moment, that the peace we are feeling just because we heard the word of Jesus, these pieces can be spread around the world in this moment. Bring a little bit more discernment and peace in the heart of so many of us that is feeling disturbed and confused with so many changes. We are all feeling vulnerable and frail. So we ask, dear Lord, shower us with your mercifulness, your love. Help each of us to stand firm in this moment of turbulence. Help the good spirits to inspire as many people as possible the importance of the present moment, so we can grasp all opportunity to better ourselves and contribute with Jesus to better our world. Give all of us the renewed energy to have a wonderful week, and we can continue the work with joy and peace. Thank you so much, and so be. Okay, my dear friends, thank you very much. We have an important thing to share with you. If you just bear with me a little bit. No, this one, just a second. We have here, I would like to share with you the QR code. If you just can open your cellular in the camera, we can scan the code and the donation can be done straight to our donation page. So we have it here for everyone who has the opportunity. And we are going to also promote that in our social media so everybody will know a possible way to donate for us, because we need the donation to keep it going, our responsibility. So I hope everyone is having a good day, and this week may bring a lot of peace for all of us. Thank you very much. So be it. See you next time.